Welcome back, everybody, to the Anti-Stall Racing IMSA Series Season 10, Round 2 today for you at Watkins Glen International Circuit. What a classic circuit. The real-life IMSA 6 hours of the Glen hosted here last week, of course, and we are the iRacing 6 hours of Watkins Glen weekend. In iRacing, that is. So 6 hours this weekend and a nice little warm-up race for our IMSA drivers today. We've got the usual format, 30 minutes of qualifying, 14 minutes, pass with a 2-minute crossover period, and then we're going to get going in with our normal 1 hour race with hopefully 2 pit stops around Watkins Glen. GTP Season 9 AM champion Brody Maynard's joining me in the booth just while we get through GT3 qualifying before he has to jump in the car. Brody, what's the track like today? What are the conditions like? And yeah, just what's it like to drive?
Track feels really good. It's a bit overcast today, so probably see cars gripping up more through corners than what we'd expect on a nice hot day here around the Glen. It's good. It's been quite close in the GTP during practice. I think that might play down more to traffic, but I think qualifying will definitely see, obviously, the faster times, and we'll see who looks set to be at the front for today's race.
I'm expecting it to be close as well, and in the race, like you say, the traffic's going to be really crucial. You've got this big long run that Matthias Weitzen is about to set off up the hill from turn 1 all the way to the bus stop chicane, which is a mega overtaking opportunity. But also, aside from just overtaking, there's a lot of straight sections on this track where the toe can really keep you in touch, and we'll throw that up for you. The track map up there, you can see just how many opportunities there are to be towed by the car in front. And this is Matthias we're watching now in the 75, and I believe that is the 7 of Alberto Casado. Directly behind Matthias, and we're picking up a nice little toe. Matthias also obviously the winner in category last time out. Was he the winner? In fact, I might have just lied to you. Definitely finished very well on his GT3 Anti-Stall Racing debut. Ryan.
Actually, Daniel Morphy won the opening round GT3.
Yeah, Daniel Morphy won with that Mercedes, which was chosen for him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Can't really complain about that, can you? The car is chosen for you by your rivals. And but Matthias came home with P2, didn't he? In the end, have just pulled up the standings. So not a bad result. He's going to set the benchmark time. We've been on board for a full lap now, but Matthias set the benchmark time at Ford Mustang for Dutch League Racing, and flicks it through the final corner. A lot of corners here ever so slightly banked, some significantly more than others actually, but it really helps you carry an awful lot of speed through the corners, and it makes super exciting qualifying. And that benchmark time was invalidated for Matthias, or it might have just been an outlap. In fact, I'm not sure. But the benchmark time so far has been set by his teammate Alex Ott in purple DLR, or is that pink? I don't know. Always a discussion between me and my girlfriend what's pink and what's purple. But I think we'll go the pinky purple DLR Mustang. It's at the benchmark time pinky at the moment. Purple. Yeah, there you go. Ivan Veska gets within 7/10 in the Mercedes for Go Esports, and the first time they're just filing in this new GT3 tyre model for this season. It doesn't need quite as much build-up as the GTP tyre, but still maybe a lap or two before the tyres are really at a full push temperature. There's more times coming in. Jose Villarejo goes to P3, and Michael Cercada goes to P1. The McLaren, he'll be pleased with that. Another Go Esports car, yeah, 5/10 up on Alex Ott's time. Be easy for anyone at the front today, and the track will likely improve as we go through qualifying. Everyone running that very same precise line, especially in the braking zones. We'll probably see the grip improve. As Dio Treviles comes across the line, goes up to P6. Obviously missed the day turnaround. Steering wheel was setting that up, getting ready to race with ASR at Majors 24, but here and ready to go today. Acura, one of two Acuras in today's field, and Matthias Weitzen goes P1 in the orange Mustang.
Sergio Sanchez with purple sector 2, Alex Hart across the line, P2. We say Sergio Sanchez. A lot of the Go Esports cars seem fairly quick. Daytona look fairly quick here as well. One thing to remember is through Daytona we saw that really intense battle at the top of GT3 Pro throughout majority of the race. 4 or 5 cars separated within, I think, less than a second of each other. So that's definitely one thing to watch out. Another one is actually the exit turn 1 where we've just gone through with Sergio Sanchez there. I think we're going to see a lot of incident penalties. If you stray across that curve and just hit the runoff tarmac, that's a 1x. You do that so many times, especially if you've got a car diving down your inside and forces you off. Even if it's not your fault, you still may get a penalty. So that's the one thing to expect.
Yeah, the other thing, like you say, Brady, was those off tracks is everybody will be pushing to the limit as often as they can, because you gain so much time by carrying just a tiny little bit more speed for them. One, like we say, said earlier on in this session, that the run goes from all the way from turn 1 up to the bus stop, and you carry so much speed. The more speed you get, you can hold through turn 1, that minimum speed. It just means you gain more and more time up the hill. So everyone will be pushing and not necessarily getting an off track every time, but will be pushing right to the limit every time. It just means you slowly creep up, and over a whole hour of racing, you might creep up to 12 and think, oh, I'm going to be really, really careful now. But all it takes is, an incident at that point, and then one more off track or whatever, and that's going to force you to take a drive-through penalty, which is really costly here. Quite a long pit lane.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing to notice as well, GTP cars, from my experience during practice. Oh, big spin. I think it's Dio.
That's Dio. Let's take a look. What happened? The number 41. Oh, easy to do around
curb,
here.
Yeah.
That's as a curb. We've all done it. So much time to be gained. We've not really spoken about that. I'll probably cover that, Brody, when you're in your GTP. I'll maybe go on board with you, in fact. Just how much time is gained by cutting those curbs at the bus stop chicane.
You're looking at least half a second if you can nail every single corner through that bus stop.
It's such a difference.
It's quite difficult to judge.
Yeah, you can get really loose. I've seen people almost rubbing against the barrier on the outside apex when you first turn in, and you can gain so much time, but you got to make sure the car is compliant over those curves, because if you hit it wrong, the wrong angle, a bit like Dio did on that previous lap, it'll send you spinning and off into the barrier. Here's Weitzen improving. Yellow in sector 1, but a green sector 2, and a purple in sector 3 to try and move a little bit further up the order. Mentioned, Brody, Daytona, we had that top battle. There was about 5 cars in it, even with the hypercars coming in and separating them out a little bit. It was still an incredibly close battle at the top of the field. Kiko Lakaye goes quicker again at the top, and Matthias Weitzen goes fastest of all, 42.780. That's just 64 milliseconds Lakai on that last attempt. But these guys, you know, you got to make sure you're in that top group. But it's just about staying in the fight for that first half of the race and seeing where you come out after all those pit stops, and you can save an awful lot of fuel by sitting in the tow of the lead driver. And might not necessarily mean that you can go one pit stop shorter, but it might mean that your pit stop is an awful lot shorter physical stop time in the box when you need less fuel. So drivers will be thinking about that as well.
Yeah, definitely. For the GTPs, slightly reduced fuel tank for this season. Oh, car off there. Yeah, slightly reduced fuel tank. So fuel saving does play more of a factor than what it used to. We'll just see Alex again. I think just hitting that curb in the wrong spot. Yeah, it was too much. A little slide, actually. Yeah.
It was loose before he got to the third of the 4 curves, wasn't he? So he got loose on the second curve, and it just shows you how difficult. I think in race, you'll probably be taking a slightly line, but you can. Sergio Sanchez has gone quickest of all as we missed that, and I'm going to try and get us a car to go on board with. The car is going to be Kiko Lakaye. Brody, do you want to talk us through this lap, because that's no good for us this lap with Kiko Lakaye?
Yep. So hard breaking down this one. You can afford to slightly, despite it being downhill. Going to try and hit that curve on the outside. Run wide here, but not too wide. Obviously, trying to keep as much speed as possible within track limits, and then a big rise. For this section of the track, like you said before, 100% throttle all the way down towards the bus stop. Trying to scrub off as little speed as possible. Then heading towards the bus stop, you need to hit your braking marker wherever he chooses. Then at 200 meters, flick it in, cut that curve. Not hit the curves on the inside too much, and then ride the curve on the outside. For this long right-hander now, trying to keep with the curve there. Beautiful line through there. Not using as much as the curve that I'd expect, but again, maybe faster. Then downhill into this left-hander. Really tricky apex. It's a late apex there. Just got to keep it under control, and then this slight uphill banked right-hander. And again, another late apex. Little bit of a slight run off of the left-hand side. It can be quicker if you can get the right line. And then spot your braking mark here. Down 150 meters. Right-hander GT3s can take the run off. It keeps it nice and tidy, nice and tight. Another uphill, tricky braking zone. Another late apex. So many difficult corners through here with the camber. Down to the final part of that now. Exit at the boot. Quick left-hander. You can run quite wide here. Keeps it nice and tidy. Over to the left, swing it to the right. And that is one impressive lap of the Glen. Let's see what lap time he does now. It's not 4 oranges.
Yeah, no improvement for Kiko Lakai. Still sits at the top of the leaderboard, but no time improvement. Trying to improve from P41, but has had a little moment in the bus stop. And what has happened to Dominic Knockel, who had a moment in the Jens Burrows competition, McLaren.
Like the wide there, you could already stay through mid-corner. Just gets on the grass.
Avoids the barrier, but that's going to be another one to watch in the race, especially if we get some cheeky prototypes trying to find a gap down the inside.
I know what you mean, George.
You would never, not you, the others.
Oh, no.
Right, Miguel Cicada looking to improve. Sits P7 right now and uses a lot of curb on the way into the penultimate corner, but that is all allowed. Set a purple time in sector 3 and a couple of yellows to go with it though, so I don't know if it's going to be an improvement. It is an improvement up to 4. Or like what Miguel would have been looking for. 13 McLaren. Go Esports going well today. They fill 3 of the top 4 positions. Found some pace, this team. Had pace with one of the cars last season. Struggled with some of the others, but they've unlocked something. A bit more performance. Be getting on with the new tyres a little bit more. Super competitive GT3 field, like we talked, top 8 within a second, but the top 3 within a tenth of each other, and that's a checkered flag. So this will be everybody's final lap times. And number 75 of Matthias Weissman will be the last driver to take the checkered flag. He's just gone through turn 4 now. We're about to get some of these guys who we're watching right now come across the line, and Sanchez feels like he was blocked, gets on the headlights, flashes the driver ahead. Driver ahead was 3 of James Rodison, trying to get a valid lap time in at the end.
Yeah, I know he's been struggling quite a lot. He's not had as much pressure as I've liked. He's just still trying to find the limits.
It's a
still trying to
difficult
get confidence in the
Watkins
car.
Glen, if you're not driven it a lot in the past. It's one of those tracks you have to realise just how much speed you can carry through some of these banked corners, and it makes such a difference. Right, Brody, thank you so much for joining me. I'll let you head down to get ready for your qualifying session. Good luck in qualifying in today's race.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, everybody, getting ready for GTP qualifying. A couple of drivers still coming to the line. Dio Trivelez moves up to P12. That's a big improvement, as we can see the queue forming already. Pit lane. Just waiting for Kiko Lakaye, still on a lap, but not really improving. Just that green sector 1. And Matthias Viton, who currently sits third, also still out there pushing. And Kiko Lakaye bails out. Matthias is going to run to the line, though, so there may be potential to find a little bit of something here. Comes across the line, and there is a little bit of something, and well, it's moved him up to P2. Not sure Sanchez will be too happy because according to my timing screen and the other timing screen, they are bang on identical lap times of 42.707. You can see that on your screen. Kiko Lakai and Matthias Viton both the same distance. Sanchez and Viton, sorry, both the same distance on Lakai. But he must have been slightly quicker, otherwise iRacing not had just position. Right, GTP qualifying getting underway. Single class GTP field we got for this season. Quinton Verdonk heads the field in that Ferrari. 4 Ferraris today. Alfie Turner, a couple of BMWs, a Porsche, Cadillacs. Well, a couple of Acuras, Albert Preem and Casper Hu. Casper not taking part in Daytona, but is back for today's race. But just showing us how much of a track you can play with it there. It'll be interesting to see in the race as well the way you can use the track around here and the different lines makes opportunities in the race for overtakes, for you to try a different line to somebody else and maybe hope for slightly better exit. Albert Preem's going to be the first driver out there on a flyer. Let's follow along on board, and I know Brody gave you a talk through during the GT3 session, but we'll do a quick follow around the lap in GTP. Okay, up the hill. Make this run as short as possible is the key thing to do. Just a couple of apexes, but you want to narrow them up as much as possible and fling it over the curbs, which is what Quinton does. Use all of the track you can, and the Ferrari gripping well through the bus stop chicane. Now open up the track here as much as you can, use the curb, brake as far as you can on the right, and then you're going to hug the apex through the entry to the boot, and then foot all the way down for the short little run into the banked right-hander. And it is banked, but if you get out wide, it starts to become off camber even, and the car can really begin to fall away from you. But we're going to push all the way down towards the end of the little back straight once again, and this is a corner where you can use so much of that exit if you want, and Quinton is going to do that to make sure he can keep the foot down as much as possible and not lose any traction. then through the tough apex where we saw an incident in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship last weekend. We'll hope for no repeats today. And breaking down and getting back on the throttle for the run to the line. Quinton is going to set our benchmark time for these cold tyre lap times, but the banker is in, and it's a 34.7, a couple of seconds off what we saw from the quickest drivers in practice. Albert Preem within 6.5 tenths essentially, and then the field starts to spread out. But remember, this is the cold tyre lap times. So it's all about just getting that banker in. Quinton Verdonk cruising sector 1, purple in sector 2. Casper Hugo's purple in sector 1. Set a valid lap time on that warm up though for Casper. Quinton really flying on this lap, lots of purples. Going to be a good benchmark time. It looks like no one else able to match him so far this lap, but obviously we've got different drivers doing different warm-up strategies. Quinton, a 32.171, that's more what we were looking for in qualifying. Goes to provisional pole. Preem, still a couple of seconds off of that. Casper Hu is going to be a little bit closer, I feel like. It is, goes to P2, but it's still in the 33s. Brody Maynard, purple in that final sector, but struggled earlier in the lap. Ricardo Riva is off. Happened to Ricardo into turn 1. Off, so nothing wrong with the setup of the car potentially. Casper Hu flying in the Acura. 2 purples this lap. Quinton with a purple, but a couple of yellows to go with it. Brody Maynard's just gone fastest in sector 2. Don't count out the Cadillac driver just yet. He is finding speed, and he had that purple final sector on the previous lap as well when the tyres were closer to being in the window. It's going to be a tight battle here. Quinton Verdonk purple in sector 4. Watch your timing screens for Verdonk's time. Watch your timing screen for Casper Hu's time. And watch your timing screen for the time of the Cadillac driver, Brody Maynard, the ASR Cadillac driver. Quinton Verdonk across the line. What's the time for Quinton? It's a 32.110, but he invalidated it towards the end of a lap. He's reset to the pit lane. Casper Hu then is going to have a chance to go to pole position here and doesn't do it. Can't beat the previous time of Quinton. What can Brody Maynard do? Yellow final sector for Brody Maynard, but the time is going to be good enough for P2. Tight for the top 3 right now. His drivers behind still looking for a little bit more grip on these Michelin tyres. Brody running the new ASR livery for the first time this season. And Albert Preem is flying on this lap in the lovely, lovely white and red DLR car. We didn't see enough of this sort of style livery that one of the DLR drivers was running last season, but it's great to have it back this season. That metallic red reflecting the light beautifully, but it's 3 purples for Albert Preem on this lap. He's found something in the Acura. The tyres are up to temperature. That pointy front nose that this car has, helping him get it turned in and keeping it slippery in a straight line still. And so much grip on that front axle for Albert Preem. Cuts into the pit entry line and gets a little bit wide there. We cut away briefly, but we're back. It's just 2 greens to cut out the lap, but it's enough for pole position by over 1 second to Quinton Verdonk in the Ferrari. So the other drivers have got to find something here. Casper, who improves back up to P3. That's car 53. Rodderson will not be permitted to start the race as he's outside 105% in both practice and qualifying. Gives Rodderson just a chance to find a little bit more pace in some practice in the build up to next week's race. Hopefully can come back stronger. Sure, he has the pace to do so. Matteo Lemre improving, currently sits 4 seconds off at the back of the field though, so I would hope for some improvement from Matteo across the line. It says 34.4 on the bottom of your screen. It's going to be a little bit quicker than that. It's a 33.4 and moves him up to P7, back into the sort of region we would expect Matteo, and that's an identical lap time to Nicolo Monti. So 2 identical lap times in two sets of identical lap times in the space of about 10 minutes is a rare thing to see. So watch your screen for anybody on an outlap. So Quinton Verdonk obviously on an outlap, and Daniel Renek on an outlap, but everybody else still staying out. With only 5 minutes left in this session, looks like it's a one run and done kind of day for most of these guys. So be on some recharge laps at the moment, potentially. Trying to work out if Albert Preem is still running, but in fact, I think he did. I think he did return to pit lane last lap. So this is a warm-up run for Albert Preem here. Unless it was just a proper slow run. Casper Who to the pit lane. Sure, if anything happened to Casper Who, just invalidated that lap, so he's just getting back in so we can go again. Brody Maynard can't improve in P4. Vincent van der Moelenbroeke, not said much about Van der Moelenbroeke today, but sits P5 and just in the middle of the field quite happily. Just find a little bit more pace to me to the front, but that could be said about everybody because he's actually only 3 tenths off of P2, but P2 second off of pole. Samir Ashad as well in the Ferrari, who were on board with P6 at the moment. Seen Samir have the pace to run at the front and win races in ASR. So there's more to come from this Ferrari as well. Also yellow on the time screen at the moment. But oh, and Samir, big moment over the curbs and clobbers the barrier. Loses, well, the rear wing and lost the front aero as well, but the suspension definitely be damaged for that. Quinton Verdonk has been off track as well in the other Ferrari. And cut the grass on the inside, and he'll be very grateful that he managed to keep it pointed roughly the right direction. And those cold tyres are going to be a little bit tight. Surface now. I'm going to try and get them working. Daniel Renek enters a flying lap in that white BMW. Up the hill. Renek currently, just according to my time screen, well, currently is outside of that 105, but he's not had a clean lap this session. Daniel can move a little bit further up the order. Daniel Green in sector 2 is improving. That's a 2-minute warning from race control for checkered flag in this session. Told that Renek set a time that was plenty fast enough in practice and has just not had a full lap together today in qualifying. That's what we see. Get some tighter restrictions on the lap time. I think everybody other than Albert Preem will be getting disqualified. Vincent van der Moelenbroeke back to the pit lane in the green, black, white DLR BMW. So it's going to be session over for him as he's moved up to P2. Albert Preem still out there improving. Daniel Renek goes up to P10, but he's got a decent banker in now, so he's going to push on for 1, maybe 2 more laps in this session if he's quick enough, has enough battery. Quinton Verdonk is finding time in the Ferrari for Vulcan Motorsport. through the final corner, rubs up against the wall, just about just what you want to do. Quinton across the line. It's an improvement up to the front row, but still nearly a second off of Albert Preem's time, who is absolutely flying. Ricardo Riva sits P11 in that beautiful yellow and blue Porsche. Through the final corner, picking up a nice toe from the Acura of Casper Hu ahead. Casper Hu does not improve. Ricardo Riva, who does improve up to P7 from P11. 6 tenths off of the front row now, but that's session over for Ricardo. Kevin Vance Voort, a little moment, but I think that was just pulling off the road actually. Casper Hu pulls off the road as well. No improvement on this lap for Casper Hu. Daniel Renette improving again. Like we said, got that banker lap in. It's now pushed to the end. The steering wheel is definitely in quali mode. Not allowing us to see the information on the broadcast. And comes into the final corner now. Checkered flag is out. Daniel Renette pushes his way to the line. It's an improvement. It's an improvement up to P5 at the end of the session for Daniel Renette. That's a job well done. When nobody else out there is finding time, it's just yellows on the timing board. Yellows and yellows and yellows. The 51 of Albert Preem comes to the line. It's a purple final sector, but it's not enough to beat his previous lap time. What a lap time it was earlier in the session from Albert Preem, which surely is going to be good enough to keep a pole position. Quinton Verdonk can't beat him. Brody Maynard is going to really struggle to beat him. Lots of yellow. Can Brody move himself up the timing tower? No, he can't. No improvement for Brody. Nicole Monti is going to be next. Currently sits last. Nobody's sat last for that long in this session. But I fear Monty, with a collection of yellows, is not going to improve any further up the order and actually hits the limiter in the final corner. And Monty boxing. Monty, last car out there. Matteo Lemre picked up a meatball flag. What happened to Matteo on that final flying lap? That's no good. That's a scenic camera. Matteo, just wide and grass, and that's got the outside. The track starts to fall away and become off camber. Right, a tight qualifying session. Apart from Albert Preem, clear at the front, but the race pace may not be there. Remember, he battled hard with Quinton Verdonk all of last race out at Daytona. It went all the way to the final lap with those two. So don't be surprised when something similar happens this time around. Getting ready for warm-up here, and then we'll run you through the qualifying results in both of our classes. Remember, the points are awarded in the sub-classes in GT3. Run you through the full points. Anybody that's not been to our website and seen that there's a slight rule change for this season, everyone will get 2 drop rounds. So the standings will start to look a bit more correct after round 4, but up to round 3, it's just going to be best of all your races that will give you your total just points and determine the current standings. Anybody that does want to join us, it's a bit late to join for today. Not too late to join us for next time out. If you head over to the website, you can buy an entry for the Season 10 Field GT3. Both will be available. You got over a week to do it because it's a break week next week before a double header at Fuji and Suzuka, Japanese double header. Then we're off for a couple of weeks before we return for 4 in a row. Homestead Miami, the Nürburgring Grand Prix, which is our special 30 minutes double sprint round. Then Canadian Tire Motorsports Park on the 21st of August. And then we're finishing off the season at Road America on the 28th of August for a 90-minute season finale. So anybody that still wants to join us, like we said, this is 2 rounds in, but there's 2 drop rounds. So you can join us now and face no real points penalty for being a little bit late to the show. Right, let's take a look at the qualifying results in GTP. Here they are, and our race director for today, Amy, will be happy to see It says round 2, season 10 on screen. Remember to update the little text box. SDK.
Weekly reminder. Once again, please GT3 leader leave a gap of 20 to 25 seconds, and both pole setters are required to use the pit speed limiter once they enter turn 11, the last turn, and the race then starts not on green flag, but instead on the acceleration of the leader within the start zone. Also, please remember, on the pit entry, if you enter the pit lane, you are not allowed to put your tires on the pit entry line. You want to stay on the right side of it. Once your tires are on the line, you're gonna get a penalty. Thank you.
Okay, Amy, the race director for today's race, Aaron Andy, alternating the races this season and following in the footsteps of Andy. A long reminder to drivers, mainly aimed at winding up the broadcast team. Albert Preem takes pole position ahead of Quinten Verdonk with that mega lap time that Preem set. Then Van der Moelenbroeke, Hu and Renek finish out the top 5. Maynard, Ashad, Riva, Lemray, Vasanfort and Monty finish out your GTP grid. GT3, more cars to run through on our GT3 field. Kiko Lakaye will start on pole position ahead of Viton and Sanchez, who both set identical lap times down to the millisecond, but I think iRacing probably times down a little bit further than that. See that Mateus is slightly faster lap time after, but to the top. Daniel Morphy will start in P4, Cerqueda in P5, Ott 6th, Nockel, Casado, Villarejo and Kellenberger finish out the top 10. Simone Bertoloni in P11 for DSP Esports Racing Team, ahead of Dio Trivalez, Ivan Vesga, Luca Picardi, Melvin Gat, Carante in P16, Rodison, who will not be permitted to start the race, and Bakema and Naruba, who at lap times, and I believe also not be starting race. Let's look at some nice cars are whacking around the track in warm-up as the GT3s get a little bit of final prep before they go in. They've just had 15 minutes out of the car. Want to get back in, their eyes with everything, check all the overlays and everything like that. All set up right and get ready to go proper. Right, I think we're going to be able to fit all of the drivers on the timing tower for today's race at all times. Samir Ashad fastest in warm-up then, as the checkered flag comes out. Just everything working again and get ready to take the green flag for round 2 of Series Season 10. Well, Albert Preem will start from pole. That's not who we're seeing with the camera at the moment. This is Vincent van der Moelenbroeke in that lovely green, white and black DLR machine. As Albert Preem will lead us off for our formation lap. Full formation here at Watkins Glen. That's going to give the drivers plenty of time to get temperature into tyres, particularly in the GTP class. GTP drivers pull away from the grid. GT3 pole sitter will leave about, well, between a 5 and 20 second gap, I'm told. Light flashing at the back, and away they go. Lakai and Matthias Weiten on the front row in T3. Everybody begins to slowly pull away from the grid and starts to weave to get that tyre temperature in. Back out to the front now. Albert Preem is making his way down the main, well, the second straight. Always tricky on the formation lap at Watkins when you have to go through the bus stop. Really open it up. You get on bits of tarmac that you would never touch in race or practice. Driver's able. Well, free leader is about 18 seconds back right now. Back of the hypercar field. Nice mix of manufacturers at the front of this field. 4 of the 5 top cars, or in fact 5 of the top 6 manufacturers, just 2 Acuras inside the top 6. Be brilliant to see Ott working fairly well here. Right, up to the final, well, penultimate corner. Getting ready to go through the final corner before we go green for round 2. Albert Preem will have control of the pack. The safety car will peel in and he will have to go inside the pre-described start zone from race control. All of the drivers be aware of that is, and Quinton Verdonk will have his eyes on Albert Preem at the side of his cockpit. And we're green from iRacing, and looks like we had a car jump out of line there, but we're all back going, and Maynard put straight under investigation, but popping out of line, and Albert Preem has driven away in turn 1. And we're side by side a little bit further back. Daniel Renek and Casper Hu battling it out as we're green in GT3. Oh, big wreck in the hypercar field, and that's going to block the top of the hill. I don't know if we're going to go to safety car or if they're going to get cleared. Nico Lacalle leads the way in GT3 ahead of Sergio Sanchez Cachifiero and Matthias Weiten, as they're all filing through nicely. We're too wide, a little bit further back in the field. Michael Kellenberger looking to make a move on Alberto Casada. Can they get it done? No, the Porsche can't push his way through. Preem under investigation. Another incident under investigation between... we've got another crash actually, and that's what's under investigation, I believe. Try and keep you updated on that. And we'll take a look at some of the replays shortly as we see who is fighting. And Preem is ahead of Verdonk, so as he was always, but I wonder if he's maybe not gone in the start zone, and that's what race control are investigating. Casper Hu dropping down the order. Trying to work out what's happened to Casper. It looks like he's got damage. Yeah, right front suspension damage for Casper Hu. Luca Picardi looking to get something done on Simone Bertolli for the lead in GT3. In fact, these two, I believe, teammates battling it out. Both in that BMW livery. For DSP Esports Racing Team. Quinton Verdonk falling away from Albert Preem. Kiko Lacaille sets the pace in GT3 as is expected. And we're side by side at the back of the Anfield. The Joachim Racing cars battle it out. Right, let's take a look at what happened in GT3. Samir Rashad in that blue Ferrari. Keep your eye on that car. Oh, all off, all on his own. Who was that? Daniel Renek. Let's take a look at what happened to Daniel. Coming up on Casper, who we saw this. I don't know if there was contact. Well, I think that's just cold tyres on the outside. Daniel gets loose and unfortunately is collected. Then this is what happened to Casper, who no, he's already got damage here, so I'm not sure where Casper picked up that damage. Casper already got... Oh no, he didn't. He had got suspension damage whacking the wall. Preem, Albert Preem has been black flagged. The race leader has been black flagged for a breach of start procedure. For the race leader, Albert Preem will serve a drive-through penalty this lap, or, well, within the next 3 laps. But that's a big blow to the race leader in the Acura, and that'll be why Brody Maynard popped out of line then. So he's still under investigation. This is why Brody's under investigation. He popped out, but Preem's black flag has been cleared because he's retired from the session. Not sure what happened. Preem there. This is... No, let's have a look. Preem off track here. Oh, spun out. Chicane, got damage. Barrett probably a bit surprised that he got that penalty. That gives Quinton Verdonk the lead of the race then in GTP. And Quinton will start to work his way through the GT3s. I'm sure in not too long. Just gonna look. Well, they're about half a lap ahead right now, as we're Mikel Cicada battling out for P3 with his teammate. That's just been interrupted by Matteo Lemre making his way back through the field. Used that fast repair, Matteo, to get the car repaired and ready to go. Simone Bertolini looking to make an impression on one of the pro cars ahead. It's Jose Carlos Villarejo ahead of him. Lovely BMW gyro camera that points at the driver. Right, Simone Bertolini through the penultimate corner here will be looking to get a run ahead, as it's Nicole Monti and Brody Maynard actually are battling it out in GTP, and it's getting a little bit dicey with these two actually. This is how it all started. Brody getting a good run out of the bus stop chicane and briefly ahead into the corner, but pulls back behind and is sat behind now. Vincent van der Moelbroek not going to let this be easy for Quinton Verdonk. He's closing. Sorry, no, looking at the wrong car. Ricardo Riva closing on Vincent van der Moelbroek. I'm going to flick to showing you the interval on screen. That's the slap time of the race for Quinton Verdonk as these GTP tyres start to come up to temperature. Lost Albert Preem from this race so far. Daniel Renek still running around at the back, just trying to make his way back through the field. Brody Maynard shaping up for a move here, potentially in the Cadillac. And look at the speed Brody carried into the bus stop. That's how he was able to attack last time. The Cadillac much more confident over curves, it seems, than the Ferrari. And Brody's just going to try and wait for an opportunity here. Maybe look for a gap down the inside. He pulls back and just lets Monty try and outbrake himself a little bit. And Brody's going to try and gain on the exit. See what he can do here. Just struggling through the second half of the boot to really find any time.
Please check contact.
Brody Maynard's being given a penalty for a jump start then. So he'll be into the pit lane this lap, I would have thought, to serve it. As you can see, yeah, peels into the right as the race director has told them they need to do. So Brody Maynard will come to the pit lane, serve that penalty. That was a call to look at contact for somebody there. Not sure who that was, but this incident's been flagged here. That's just Matthias going off the track, so I'm not sure what the incident being flagged is for. Fortunately missed who it was. Brody Maynard into the pits early, 8 minutes into this race. Will throw him off a little bit. Set the purple sector 1 the previous lap as well. Now cleared that black flag back out of the pit lane, but coming through turn 1 when the next hypercar up the road is coming into the boot now. So that's going to cost the driver, the Cadillac ASR driver, a lot of time. It's tight out front. We said it would be. Brody told us it would be. In fact, the top 5 in GT3, let's put the gaps up for a second, separated by just a second. The top 5 cars separated by a second. This is going to be mega to watch. And let's watch it from the onboard of Daniel Morby, who sits 5th in this line. If anybody thinks about a move into turn 1, but difficult to overtake in the GT3s on the brakes. Just allows this pack to run so close. Carlo Rivas keeping in touch with Vincent van der Moelenbroek in the GTP field. Nicole Monti briefly off track then, but has kept it going, not lost any real time. Morphy just a little bit further back this lap, but maybe the Mercedes stronger in some parts of the track, like it is over the curves, as Morphy can just shuck it in to the corner and gains all of that time back that he lost throughout the power zones. Morphy just sitting back waiting for something to happen on this lap though. Matthias Weissens pulled out about half a second on Kiko Lakaye. We missed Matthias taking the lead, and that's because it happened here. Into the bus stop, Matthias gets the inside line, flicks it through. That's how you got to do it. You're on that inside line into the bus stop. It makes it really hard for the other driver to defend, because you can brake later on that inside line. You can open up the corner, you can straight line those curbs a little bit more and just carry an awful lot of speed. It makes it really hard for a car on the outside to defend their position. "10 minutes into this race, if we get a hypercar doing the alternate strategy, they'll be in soon. Maybe when they start to catch the traffic, which is already starting to happen." Quinton Verdonk filing his way through some of the cars towards the back end of the field now. Down into turn 1, overtaking. This is the battle for the AM lead at the moment. And this is fortunate for Verdonk. He's caught the most of these guys on probably the best bit of a track to overtake, and he's now got a bit of clear running in front of him, and Van der Moelenbroek having to take a little bit.
Please check.
Monty not happy, not sure what happened then. This incident, I believe. No, it's not. So I wonder if it's Monty feeling like he was held up by a bit of traffic. Fortunately, don't have that to show you. Mateus Viton, since taking the lead, has started to pull away a little bit. Pushed another 10th this lap. Race incident on collection of 1Xs. Traffic is going to shape things up. That's our leader, Quinton Verdonk, starting to catch the lead pack now. Will hopefully, hopefully for Quinton, maybe for the sake of the GT3s as well, be able to make most. And he does. He's going to sit behind in the final corner, put the power down early, get a good exit, and try and clear all of these cars down the main straight. And just shows you how much power those GTPs have got. He's on the lights. He's flashing, saying I'm coming through. He's not going to get them all. He's only going to get about half of them. Now he's going to have to try and make the moves up the S's, which is where it's going to get a little bit dicey for Verdonk. Got 2.5 seconds out front now. He can be a little bit patient. Can afford to back off if he needs to. A lot of the rest of the field can't. Monty, that's a race incident, says race control. For Monty or incident, it might be this one. No, it's not. So I'm not sure what it is. But that battle, those hypercars making their way through has spread out the GT3s just a little bit more, but still all very much within touching distance. Daniel Renette continues to make his way through the GT3 field to get back onto the back of the hypercar pack. There he is, filing through a couple of our pro cars. Jose Carlos Villarejo running all around and pressuring the back of Dio Treville. Oh, Michael Kellenberger. 8 on the brakes, not going to let the hypercar through there. Nico Lakaye taking advantage of that runoff in turn 1, picking up a 1X. If we can put incident points up on the screen for you, can definitely put off tracks up. Or off tracks some people have picked up. Remember, some of these cars have got incident points as well. I believe we can show those on screen, unfortunately. We'll be looking for a move here. White seem to have the pace to make a move on the McLaren. Needs to be a little bit closer going into the bus stop, and it might be on. Yeah. Oh, Daniel. Oh, there we go. That's Dominic Knockel, who's picked up damage, and it's going to be in the bus stop. Too much grass, too much curb, sends a car wide, front end into the wall, and the back end's going to hit the outside as well. And that's going to be a difficult machine to bring back to the pit lane. GT3's are going to get a little break once Daniel Renette makes his way by. Renette, who is not classified correctly on a timing tower. Gonna fix that. There you go, Daniel Renette sits P10 in GP as they run right now. Dominic Knockel into the pit lane for, looks like tyres, fuel, and a new body kit. That pit stop's done. That'll serve as his first stop of the race, and he'll go on to one more to get to the end now. He managed to get within that window before picking up that damage. Fortunately for him, Anthony Caranta, Alberto Casado getting dicey here. Casado in the pro car, trying to get past the AM driver. But what happened to Casado? Picked up a series of slowdowns actually out of the race, and this 2x on lap 3 happened to Casado, and this is why he's dropped down the order. Fortunately for him, didn't find the barrier, but he's going to have to let the whole field through before he gets going again, and that's why they've dropped down the order a little bit. Lorejo on the radio. Sure what that was about. Couldn't hear him as per usual, unfortunately. Daniel Morphy, still the driver with the best chance of an overtake out there at the moment, but is just struggling a little bit now. Getting ready for the first stops of the day. Morphy pushing forwards. Lovely nose cam from Mercedes AMG GT3. Listen to the sound of that lovely engine. Kiko Lacalle is closing in on Matthias Weiten a little bit out front as well. Took about a tenth out of him on that previous lap. So it's going to be one to watch if he can continue to bring that gap down. The front engine car's running well today. Glen. GT3 field, that is. Zidong still pulling away out front. 5 seconds now is the gap. Freddie Maynard closing in relatively quickly. That's the fastest lap of the race actually by about 3/10 and is gaining far ahead. Sorry, no, Brady Maynard does not have the fastest lap. Casper who has the fastest lap of the race. Remember, Brady Maynard has served a drive-through penalty. Casper Hu been to the pit lane for damage repair, as has Matteo Lemre, Samir Shad, Daniel Renek. Well, going as a pit stop on my timing screen. And Kiko Lacalle continues to take time. Kiko Lacalle continues to take time out of the race leader and is well within the tow here now. Just 3/10 separates them as they come to the line to start lap 12 of the GT3 race. Just over the third race distance mark. It looks like a good exit for Lacalle. He's going to try and close in as they come up the hill and is doing so, but I don't think it's going to be quick enough for a move this time round. That got down to 2/10 by the time they get to the braking zone, and that's Casper Hu behind, who looking for a gap, but is not going to find one there, and he's going to have to try and find one around the outside because Lakai is going to stick to the inside, make sure he doesn't get forced off his line by the GTP. Bertolini on the radio. As we've missed this, but we got Melvin Gack and Michael Kellenberger into the pit lane for their normal service, as is our race leader Quinton Verdonk, Van der Moelenbroek, Riva, Sandvort all follow suit, as does Monty. So these guys, it's definitely going to be just a two-stop race today because unable to make it any further for the top 5 in GT. Got a couple of GT3s at the back who have all pit, remember. Brody Maynard carries on for one more lap though. This is going to be crucial. Has Kiko Lacalle, Sergio Sanchez, Cachafiero, Mikel Skeda or Daniel Morphy been able to save fuel by sitting in the tow? Each of them will have had less fuel usage, as yes they have, because some of our cars are pitting, some are staying out. Sanchez stays out, Lacalle, Morphy, Byton all pitting in. And Morphy stays out, but Byton, Lacalle, Cicada and Ott are all in. This is going to be a battle on pit road between Lacalle and Matthias Byton. Who makes the quicker stop, who uses less fuel. A black flag for Ivan Veska. Got it on entering pit lane, so Ivan Veska sped on pit lane entry. Has picked up the penalty. It's away from the box from Matthias Byton. It's away from the box for Kiko Lacalle, but not soon enough to jump the Dutchman. And Matthias Byton, in fact, was 3 times quicker in the pit box. Bernie Maynard still out on track, having stayed out 1 lap longer than our leader, Quinton Verdonk, the only GTP driver to do so. It's surely going to be into the pit lane this time round for Brody Maynard, and it is into the pit lane this time round for Brody Maynard, who made it 24 minutes into this race for making that first stop for fuel. Ivan Veska is in to serve the drive-through penalty. Drop him. Oh no, he's not. This is still in for fuel, so it must be a hold penalty for Veska. Kevin Versandvoort on the back of Matteo Lemire. Ferrari v Cadillac. DLR Ferrari v Cadillac, and is that Cadillac into the pit lane? Yes, it is. Matteo Lemire into the pit lane. Samir Rashad into the pit lane. And our 2 GT3 leaders, Sanchez and Morby, who stayed out 1 lap longer, are into the pit lane. This is going to be an interesting battle. Matthias Byton and Kiko Lacalle are coming through the boot now into the braking zone at the end of the boot. These 3 running tight, and they're going to be pushing here. They're going to be really, really pushing. Didn't see if they took tyres or not. I'm honestly not sure if they did. This is going to be close with the other cars that are in pit lane. Sanchez and Morphy. Watch them on the side of your screen, and I'm going to put them up on track, and I'm going to make it so we just see Daniel Morphy. That's Daniel Morphy, the car currently in 2nd place that sits in the pit lane, car number 24. And we're going to be watching to see him moving. He's moving down pit lane. This is going to be close on the exit, and it's going to be close on track. Kiko Lacalle is alongside Matthias Byton. Kiko Lacalle is going to look for a move into turn 1. Kiko Lacalle is going to get the move done into turn 1 on the long-time race leader. And the cars that stayed out 1 more lap are coming out of the pit lane now. Daniel Morphy has jumped Sergio Sanchez in the pits. That's 1 position for Daniel Morphy. Daniel Morphy is now coming up the hill, and he's got a lot of overspeed here. Matthias Byton is going to be coming back at the race leader up into the bus stop chicane. Matthias Byton on the outside line. We talked about the inside line being crucial. He's going to struggle to make it work on the outside line. He's going to try and make it work on the outside line. They go too wide through the bus stop. Didn't think we'd see this today, and that's going to give the opportunity to Mikel Cicada behind in the McLaren to try and follow his teammate, his Go Esports teammate through, and they're 3 wide nearly coming into the boot, and Miguel Cicada is going to get a move done down the inside, and Matthias Byton here, surely that shorter, grippier, tighter inside line is going to work out here. Daniel Morphy is trying to sniff an opportunity here as these 2 continue to battle it out. That's the GTP of Samir Rashad just waiting for an opportunity to get by here. This is going to shake things up a lot. Matthias Byton is going to look for a move on the leader now, is he? But the Go Esports cars are going to work together here. He's drafting his teammate, Miguel Cicada, along. He's got the outside line here, and he can't get it done. Matthias Byton late on the brakes, slots it through, uses the full width of the track. It comes out ahead. Casper, who is in pit exit now. He made it 26 minutes into this race with that emergency stop that he had to make on lap 1, but it's not going to be far enough to make it on no more stops. It's going to be a 2-stop for every car in this race, it looks like, even though we did have that long formation lap, but it should be a 2-stop for every car in this race. Vincent van der Moelenbroek and Ricardo Riva are battling it out for P2. We'll go and watch that battle in a moment. We just want to see how this shakes out, and it looks like it's calmed down again a little bit by GT3 standards. But Daniel Morphy, the main winner out of that pit cycle, but Kiko Lakaye with a better outlap than Matthias Weissman was able to challenge, and Miguel Sequeira was almost able to challenge Matthias Weissman, who is still on the attack here. He's not going to give it up. I don't think he's close enough here for a move into the bus stop in the Mustang. He's really pushing it, and he's not close enough. He has to back out. This is Vincent van der Moelenbroek and Ricardo Riva. This is how Ricardo Riva got past the BMW driver. Late on the brakes in the BMW and forces the BMW to get out of the way. The Porsche driver late on the brakes. A beautiful send. Don't believe that's gone to race control either. Samir Ishad is off the road. What's happened to Samir Ishad? Briefly off the road, but all good and all going again. Lemre still in pit lane with that black flag. Not sure what's going on there. Matthias Weissman's not going to give this one up. He'd rather be leading. Still had a quicker stop despite leading last time round. He is close. He gets a much better run up the hill in the toe than the BMW did attacking him, but not close enough for a move. He just needs to try and pressure Lakaye here, try and force the issue. Just been told Matteo Lemre picked up a meatball spinning on pit exit, so that one. What happened to Matteo Lemre on pit exit? Old tyres on that GTP. Spins out pit exit. And that black flag. 4P getting ready to go another round with Kiko Lakaye as Quinton Verdonk pulls now the lead out to 8 seconds. Came down by half a second on that previous lap. Ricardo Riva is pushing out front to try and bring down that gap. Now he's cleared the DLR driver. Problems for Melvin Gack, who is off the road in the boot. This is what happened to Gack, the number 99 Audi. Brakes. Touches the grass a little bit, but I don't think that's going to be the problem. The problem was just too much speed and not enough grip through the corner for the Audi. Way without damage for now. Orpi under attack. Sanchez coming back at him. Mühlebrücker falling back as Ricardo Riva, another 2 tenths last lap out of the race leader. It's took another 7 tenths, another 8 tenths so far just this lap. So keep an eye on Ricardo Riva, who is bringing down that lead quite rapidly in that Porsche. This is the closest he's been into the final corner, and a good run down into turn 1 will make an opportunity appear into the final corner. Remember, he lost the lead going into turn 1. An unusual overtaking place in GT3, and actually nearly gave an opportunity back to him to retake the lead. He's not going to make the same mistake if he's racing his rival. This is the closest he's been at this point. This is going to be the best opportunity. Look at the overspeed in the Mustang, and Lakaye knows it. He's gone defensive early as the GTP second place runner comes out, and it was smart to go defensive from Lakaye because that just enabled him to hold that inside line and hold the lead ultimately. GTP may be taking the opportunity away from Matthias a little bit there as well, but this is the closest he's been going into the boot as well. He's going to try and go for a move into the boot, and he's going to force Lakaye to tighten up his line more than he needs. This is the kind of pressuring that you need to get a move done in GT3. You've got to force the issue on the other driver, force the mistake out of the other driver. Van der Mühlebrücker coming through. The lead came down by about 8 tenths last lap in GTP, but it's grown just a little bit more this lap. Ricardo Quinterverdonk able to stretch it out a little bit more. Might be due to the traffic, and this is a move on for Matthias Weiten. He had a little look. I didn't think it was going to be enough, but he's going to get ahead surely here. Lakaye is going to battle him out, and again, this is bringing the opportunity in for the McLaren behind, who's looking to pick up the scraps, and it's going to be moved done for for Matthias Weiten in the most unusual of places, and that's going to mean the Go Esports cars are going to have to battle it out for who gets to challenge him now. Take another look at that move from Matthias, because that was absolutely incredible. Just rolled it in on the brakes. We saw him do this earlier on in the race. Just roll it in on the brakes super confidently. Get ahead. Daniel Morphy actually with the best opportunity to overtake here. Remember, the car in front will have a tow, which makes it a little bit more difficult. And the Mercedes driver's got really good overspeed here. Is he going to look to the inside for the bus stop? No, he's not. It's too late. Look how much speed he's got. He can go so much quicker through the bus stop than the cars ahead are able to go. I think Morphy really needs to look at an undercut or an overcut for the next pit cycle and do some quick laps, because he looks quicker than the cars in front right now. GTP's mixing this up a little bit. Oh, that's cost Morphy time. And Matthias Weiten starting to etch out that lead a little bit more again. Lemre's finally left the pits after repairing all that damage. 2 laps down to the next car now. I believe that's 3 laps down to the leader. Morphy might have an opportunity here. Cicada disrupted a little bit by the hypercar. Gap not coming down quick enough right now. Villarejo looking to get a move on Kellenberger here. He's been looking for this for a few laps now. In fact, a big chunk of the race, and hasn't been able to get the move done. BMW do anything against a Porsche in front, closing speed into the bus stop, but again just not quite close enough. Lemre serves that drive-through penalty. Personal best lap time that time by for Reaver, but Verdonk really putting the hammer down now. That gap starting to grow again. Bertolini still running close with his teammate Picardi. ESP Sport Racing team. Teammate a little bit wide there. That's going to give an opportunity actually here for Bertolini. He's been looking for an opportunity to pass his teammate for a while now. Gonna be that opportunity. Oh, and has a look over the inside of the final corner, and that's not the play. It's lost him time here. The way to be more patient as Samir Ashad makes his way through in the Ferrari. So Carlos Villarreal is closing on Michael Kellenberger, but too far back on the way into the bus stop, unfortunately. A race leader pushing on. Fairly uneventful race for Quinten Verdonk. Started P2. Led all of the race into black flag. The crash for Albert Preem, the pole sitter. Quinten, the pleased with the way that today has played out. Pole position and a win in round one, and it looking good for a P2 in qualifying and a race win potentially. Round two, it's a whole load of points to take home. Obviously, they're both drop rounds. It all averages out and adds up at the end of the season. Mega start of the season for Quinten Verdonk. Freddie Maynard is close on Freddie Monty. Fair amount this in down to 50 seconds. It was 22. Samir Ashad into the pit lane. Ashad is going to be into the pit lane for his second of his two racing stops. Dominic Knockel makes the same decision as well in Jens Brothers competition McLaren. Sanchez close to Morby here, and is this hypercar going to give him an opportunity? Oh, it's going to split them up actually, and you can see Sanchez not happy about that straight onto his blinkers. Hitting the flash button. But it's going to make a difference to his race now. And we'll probably just hope that Mercedes is held up here. But they can feel much better about it. Samir Ashad, still the only driver to have taken to the pit lane, but we would you can make it to the end from it, so expect some cars soon. So Lemray going around the outside of Jose Carlos Villarreal, who's chasing Michael Kellenberger ahead. That won't have helped his exit. Alberto Casado into the pit lane in GT3. Rashad still in pit lane, so Samir fixing damage or its day done for Ashad. Well, the lead in GT3 out to a second now, and Cicada 1.5 behind his teammates. The biggest the gap's been all season, potentially, even not just today. And will take us for the pit lane yet. Really spreading out now at the front of GT3. Get towards the end of the dual cycle. Villarejo is still threatening the 7. Melvin Gak to the pit lane, back of the GT3 field. Villarejo stuck in this bubble he's been all race. You can't help but feel that it's losing in time. 2 cars ahead, they're now 24 seconds back, but it's not able to get the move done on Kalmberger, and trying to do something different in this stop to try and clear the Porsche. Porsche struggled so far this season, not had the pace of some of the other cars. Both stay out again. 15 minutes to go. Made it to about 20 minutes. So Ricardo Riva into the pit lane though from P2 in GT. As is Vasanvort from P4. And Villarejo just dropped back a little bit this lap. Sanchez closing though, but the Dragon Cadillac's going to lose him a little bit of time here, and actually feel like it was a late move Cadillac because got back alongside him. And that's going to just drop him back even further again. The thing about multi-class racing, traffic can create opportunities, it can also cost you opportunities. Great to see the Mercedes able to compete, not being brilliant on BOP the last few seasons. It's really close between the Mustang, the BMW, the Mercedes and McLaren. So far, yet to see some of the other cars get involved. Kiko Lakaye into the pit lane from P2, as is Alex, as is Quinton Verdonk from the lead, the overall lead in P. Watch for the gap to and the Mühlerbrook. Sorry, watch for the gap to Riva. That's the battle. And the Mühlerbrook also into the pit lane. Ricardo Riva just coming in. He hairpin to rejoin the main track out of the boot. Donkey's in his pit box. Don't expect them side by side, but he could come out a little bit closer here. Quinton Verdonk is back out on track now. Brady Maynard stays out another lap. As expected, he did that last stint as well. Ricardo Riva is still about 11 seconds back from the leader. It's really closed up since the pit stop for these three, as they're all pushing to try and beat the previous race leader, Simone Bertolini. Black flag when leaving the pit lane, so off the limiter a little bit early or a little bit loose on the exit, as Sanchez stays out one more lap than these two cars, and Sanchez will have stayed out 2 more laps than his teammate in the same car. So Lacalle in 1 lap ago, Sanchez goes 2 more than him. Viton in this lap, as are the other drivers in the battle for the lead. Lacalle through the penultimate corner and through the final corner. 3 cars ahead are all in their pit boxes. He passes the teammate Villarejo, who's been stuck behind Kellenberger for most of this race. Renek is black flagged. Again, pit entry for Daniel Renek. And his Kiko Lacalle is not going to beat out Matthias Viton. He's gained about half a second through the pit cycle. He's going to get momentum up the hill. He's going to have a tow up the hill. The gap is coming down. It's not going to be close enough for a move this lap. It may open up opportunities on the next lap. That leads the gap down to 2.5 seconds to the car behind. And Daniel Morphy about 1.5 seconds behind Sakeda. Sanchez staying out 1 more lap, even more than these guys. He's going to be the next driver that we focus on in this battle. Brody Maynard into the pits as well. Incident under investigation between Monty and Treville. This is what happened. Damage already for Dio here. Trying to make it back to the pit lane with no wing. And he spins through the final corner. Because he's got, I believe, unless... Oh no. There was contact there with the GTP. Definitely. Renek has cleared that black flag. Is Dio out of the race? He's towed back to the pit lane, unfortunately. Sanchez is in the pit box now. Finishing his fueling any second. He's on pit exit now. Be close. See him there coming through pit exit. No, he's going to be a fair bit behind the lead too. Where does he come out relative to Toledo? He's gained big here. Morphy is dropped back down to 5th. Sanchez gains 2 places by staying out 1 more lap. But he's going to be battling it out with his teammate. Go Esports currently occupy 4 of the top 3 of the top 4 positions in this race, but not the lead position, which they held for such a long time. Casper Hu to the pit lane as well now. Brody Maynard on the back of Nicoli Monti. A long way in the works, but these two ready to battle it out. Caddy v Ferrari. Ferrari has the straight line speed, but the Caddy superior on the brakes, and Monty makes a mistake. He's off the track. He comes back on. He's going to have to cede the position to Maynard here, surely. I think if he doesn't, Brody will surely be on the radio asking for the position, and he does so. Maynard is ahead then, back up to P5. Bertolini in to serve the drive-through penalty for the unsafe pit exit and is stopping in the box. So, not sure if that is day over, or maybe it must have been a more severe penalty than a drive-through. He's stretched out that gap a little bit. I know 4 times doesn't seem like a lot. It's an age with the way these guys have been racing. That's that black flag kid for Bertolini, who battled for the lead all race in GT3 and has been dropped to the rear of the field. Theo, a 15-second time penalty for Cavaliers. But out of the race, not hurt him. Headlight flashes. Miguel Takeda looking looking in the best position to overtake here at the back in this GT3 fight in the back end of the race. Just 7.5 minutes to go. Fairly quiet race by ASR standards. Other stewards have enjoyed a little bit of a rest this week. Still 7 minutes to go, plenty to happen, and they won't be mad at me for cursing them at all. The message to come through from race control asking me why I would do that to them. Right. This is our battle that's on now. The GTP positions are sort of decided. Unless Monty can come back at Maynard or there's a problem for anyone else running in front. Tail Emre into the pit lane for a splash of fuel to make sure they get to the end. The P9 at best. For the Drakeem hypercar. Go Esports will be very happy with the way they've run today. Unfortunately for Villarejo, who's stuck behind Kalmberger for a lot of race, he overcut him in that final stop and he's now 4 seconds ahead. Runs down in 8. Kodakaya, Sergio Sanchez, Cachafiero and Miguel Sadakeda. P2, P3 and P4. That's it. Oh, and he's off into the barrier! As we say that, Sanchez finds the barrier. With just 5 minutes to go, what happened to Sanchez all on his own, it looks like? Oh, just drove off into the wall. Very, very bizarre. Let's take a look at what happened on board, because it looked like he suddenly went a long way right hand down. Ran out of fuel, I think. Very bizarre. Sure what happened there at all. Well, probably shouldn't have been saying how much of a good day they've had, but still P2 and P3 Go Esports run. That's promoted Daniel Morphy up to P4, the race winner from last time out at Daytona.
Race control. Heard my check.
Yes, copy.
And the Mullerbrook asking for race control to take a look at something. See what that is.
Copy.
Only one penalty in this race. It was given to the GT3 Dio in this instance. He ended his day. Hypercar getting away fairly damage free though, it seems. Couple of drive-throughs out for race start infringements. Sanchez says his game froze. That's what he's told the other drivers in the driver chat. Tragic, was running so well in the podium positions. There's a no with an awful lot of O's and a lot of exclamation marks. Understand the frustration. Just for 3 minutes and Couple of seconds to go till we get to the checkered flags. It'll probably be 2 more laps from now. Take that checkered flag. Christopher Donk has led every lap since Albert Preem's crash. Not looked back. Reaver gained a little bit in the middle of the race once he cleared Van der Meulenbroek, but then Verdonk really put his foot down, just pulled away. Been consistently one of the quickest cars on track. Not the fastest lap today. Goes to Casper Hu. So far, Quinton, nearest car. Luca Picardi battled with his teammate for a lot of the day for the lead in GT3, and that battle was unfortunately decided by a penalty. Bertolini for a pit lane incident. Bertolini pit exit speed, what you can see, so off the limiter too early potentially. Drive-through penalty. Daniel Morpy's closing back in here on Cercado. I wonder if Cercado's having to manage to fuel a little bit. Daniel Morphy really is closing in here now in the Mercedes. Whoopie. Gonna have to try and find a creative way by here, I think. Again, it's just the run to the bus stop just a little bit too short. He holds this close, so there could be an opportunity. Luca Picardi blinking, I believe. And he's out of the race. Oh no, Luca Picardi really blinking here. Potentially a connection problem, an overheating problem on the PC, maybe for Picardi. Going to try and limp to the end, but keep an eye on that. Monty has picked up a meatball. What has happened to Nicole Monti? Oh, too much speed. Gets on that off-camber bit and clobbers the wall. And Monty into the pit lane. He probably didn't need to, though. He probably could have carried on if the steering would have let him. But it's not going to make a difference of a race result now, although Daniel Morphy may get by. Keep your eye on Luca Picardi, who is seemingly back in sim fully now. Daniel Morphy using the track to its fullest extent in turn 1. Picks up a 1x, but has got a fair amount to play with here. And that's a checkered flag, so our race leader is going to come to the checkered flag shortly, but Daniel Morphy is going to try and make his way onto the podium here. He's put himself on that outside line. Quinton Verdonk wins a race in GTP. I know we're not watching it because we're watching a potential overtake here in GT3. They're going to be side by side, and there's contact into the bus stop chicane. Sedekada sent flying, keeps it on the road, comes off in P4, but no, oh, he's going to get by in that DLR machine. Ricardo Riva comes home to finish P2 in GTP. That's your race leader taking a parade lap. Ricardo Riva comes home in P3. Van der Meulenbroek comes home in P3. Sorry, Ricardo Riva in P2. I would imagine that incident is going to be under investigation if it's not already. It is under investigation. Picardi and winner ahead of Coranta in P2. Gak looking to come home in P3 and does. Vesga P4 and Bertolini in P5. Matthias Weiton will win in GT3 Pro ahead of Kiko Lakaye. Daniel Morphy will take the podium on the road. We're yet to see what the stewards think of that incident, and we know what, we're going to take a look at it. Really hard to judge. So difficult. Drivers to go side by side through that section. From the chopper. Really, really difficult to judge. Race control. I'm going to have a long look at that one. Right then, Quinton Verdonk, Matthias Weiton, Luca Picardi
To void chat now if you want to.
will be your race winners for round 2. Matthias Weiton, strong start to the season for him, a first and a second. Strong start of the season for Luca Picardi as well, race winner in Daytona, race winner in Watkins Glen. TP, double race winner again, Quinton Verdonk. There's for donuts out to celebrate. Take a look. The race results. Your GTP race winner was Quinton Verdonk ahead of Ricardo Riva. 15, nearly 16 seconds was the lead at the end of the race. Vincent van der Moerbrucker finishes P3. Kevin de Sandfort P4. Brody Maynard came in to finish P5 despite that drive-through penalty. Casper Hu in P6, Nicole Monti P7, Daniel Renek in P8, Matteo Lemre P9, Samira Shad in P10, and Albert Preem 36 laps down after getting that drive-through penalty at the beginning of the race and crash before they could serve that drive-through penalty. GT3 Pro, the race was won by Matthias Weiton ahead of Kiko Lakaye. The next 3 positions are currently undecided, waiting for race control to assess the incident. But Daniel Morphy finishes on the podium on the road ahead of Alex Ott, Miguel Saraceda, Dominic Knockel, Lorejo in P7, Kellenberger P8, Casado P9, Sanchez P10, Trivelez in P11, and Vessel became in P12. GT3 AM, Luca Picardi is your winner once again ahead of Anthony Quaranta, Melvin Gag, Ivan Vesga, Simone Bertolini, Denzel Deruva, and Rodison. Neither of those drivers starting today's race. Okay, thanks to everybody that joined us today. Like I said at the top of the broadcast, we've got a week off next week, and then we're back for the Japanese doubleheader at Suzuka. Followed by, let me just check that I'm giving you the right order. Yeah, no, of course I'm not. A week off, then we're back for doubleheader, starting with Fuji and finishing off at Suzuka. Then we're off for a couple of weeks before we're back for Homestead, Miami, a big ring sprint round, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, Road America 90-minute season finale to finish off the season. Thanks to everybody that joined us today, and we'll see you next time.